Hi guys, welcome to day 2 of lesson 18. This is our prerequisite lesson for unit 4 as we get into unit 4. Let's go ahead and get started on this lesson here. Let's read the directions. It says in the figure shown, what is the measure of angle ADC? So angle ADC, so you're looking for A, D, and C. And when they have it written like so, angle ADC, you're really looking at that angle that's in the middle, that angle D. So we're right here. So ADC, this is your angle. Okay, so they're asking you, what is the measure of this angle here? And in them asking that question, they also give you a few things. So they give you kind of, not necessarily the exact number, but somewhat the measurement of CDE, which is 2x plus 1. And the measure, and not completely the measure, but somewhat an expression that represents the measure of angle ED and F, which is x minus 7. Okay, so from what we learned yesterday, we learned that when there's a straight line here, okay, these two angles are called supplementary angles. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our example in the model it here. It says model it. You can use the diagram and facts about angles to write the equation. So it says angle CDE, so which is this one right here, okay, and angle EDF, which is this one right here, are supplementary. And they're supplementary because when we put them together, it makes a straight angle. It makes that straight line. Okay, so they wrote out those problems. The expression here, it says 2x plus 1. That was angle CDE. Plus, when we add them together, angle EDF here, x minus 7, equals to 180 degrees. And from yesterday's lesson, we learned that supplementary angles equal to 180 degrees. So any straight line will equal to 180 degrees, okay? And they go ahead and work it out for you to solve for x. So a few of the things that we already know, when you don't have any numbers in front of this, we're not needing to distribute or multiply or anything like that, we can go ahead and just get rid of these parentheses, and that's what they just did in the first step here, okay? So 2x plus 1 plus x minus 7 equals 180. We just got rid of the parentheses, okay? And unfortunately, my stylus is so big that I can't really write on here too easily. So I'm going to go ahead and verbally just describe what's going on. Okay, so the next thing in the next line here, from here they got to here. What did they do? Okay, so notice that there's only now one variable term and one number term, so they combine the like terms here. So 2x plus 1x, that gives us 3x. Okay, and then now the number term, you have 1 minus 7. Okay, so we learned kind of the rules that I teach you guys here. So who wins? Which team won? Okay, so the positive team or the negative team? There is a lot more in the negative team. So negative team won. That's how they got the negative. And then by how much? By how much did the negative team win? And because they're on different teams, we're going to subtract their absolute value. So 7 minus 1 equals to 6. So that's where they got that 3x minus 6. And they did nothing to this side here, so they brought it right down. Okay. The next part. They now have just 3x by itself. What happened to that 6? And the 6 is moved here. So again, we've talked about equations already. We know that we can use inverse operation to isolate that variable term. Okay, so this is minus 6, so your inverse operation of minus 6 is adding 6 to both sides. So I add 6 to this side, but addition property of equality says that I have to also add 6 to this side as well. So that allows me to cancel out the 6, leaving us with just that 3x equals, and now we're adding that 180 plus that 6 as well. So that's what gives us that 186. Okay, so the next part, you have 3x. That's multiplication. So again, using inverse operation, the opposite of multiplication is division. So they're divided by 3, but division property of equality, I have to divide the other side by 3 as well. So that gives us x equals 186 divided by 3 is 62. So we found the value of x. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next page so that we can just kind of walk through those problems together. Okay, So it's kind of tricky because you don't have the image, so I'm going to be flipping back and forth to look at the image, so to see what we are talking about. Okay, so number 2, it says, look at model it. How do you know that angle CDE and EDF are supplementary? And here are the 2 angles, so these 2 angles. How do we know that these 2 angles here are supplementary? Okay, go ahead and answer. Put your answer on the line. There's a click it, what do you call that thing? It's a text box that you can click and answer the question right on your screen, right on your document in Google Classroom. Okay, so how do you know it's supplementary? Number 3, how do you know that the measure of angle CDE and angle EDF add up to 180 degrees? And we know from yesterday's lesson that supplementary angles are straight lines. Anytime that you have 2 angles that make up a straight line or a straight angle, it's called supplementary. And any supplementary angles, any straight line, when you add them together, it will equal to 180 degrees, okay? Number 4, this problem here is actually going back to the recent page there. It says, give reasons for the steps used to solve the equation, write the reasons next to the steps. So it's going back to this page and writing what happened in each step, which I kind of already went through with you, okay? Go ahead and write those guys write your answers in those lines. The next one, it says, since you know that x equals 62, what are the measures of CDE and EDF? Show your work. And you're not going to, I don't want you guys to show your work on your computer. Just go ahead and show your work on a separate sheet of paper. You don't have to worry about turning it in or anything, but show your work, get practice at it. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and show you guys those angles again. So back over here, you have this angle, which is 2x plus 1. And this angle, which is x minus 7. Okay, so again, and I'm writing it on my scratch paper here as well, 2x plus 1 was for CDE, and x minus 7 is for angle EDF. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move back over to the other page, and it says show your work. And I'm going to try to use the stylus as best as I can, and you guys saw me in the first lesson. I didn't do a really good job, so I'm going to go ahead and try it again. Let's see what we're going to do. Okay, so it says since you know that 62, x equals 62, what are those measures? So we have the first one, angle CDE here is 2, and let's see if I can do this. 2, whoopsies, why is my stylus not working? Maybe I'm not pressing hard enough. No, let's try this. Let's go to the color that I like to use. So 2, it's not working. Why is it not working? Okay, anyhow, so I don't know what's wrong with my stylus. Let's see. Oh, it works there. Why is it not working in the right spot there? Okay, so 2x, okay, so x was 62. Okay. And we're going to add plus 1. And you don't need to write this right in this spot. This is what's done in my scratch paper. And we're going to go ahead and multiply. Okay, 2 times 62. If you're not able to do this using mental math, go off to the side and do it on your paper. So 62 times 2, we're going to multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. And then 2 times 6, 2 times 6 here is 12. So that's 124, and then plus 1. 124 plus 1 equals 125. Okay, so 125. So we have the measure of the first angle, angle CDE, equals to 125 degrees. Okay, so that, whoopsies, it's not as big as the last time, so I actually have to make the circle on there. Whoops, that's humongous. Okay, so you get the point. Anyhow, so that's how you solve for angle CDE. So do the same thing with angle EDF. Angle EDF is a little bit easier. You have just x minus 7. So again, your value for x was 62. So 62 minus 7. Okay, and that will give you the value of EDF. And you're going to go ahead and find that yourself using your handy dandy calculator or working it out on your piece of paper. Okay. Let's go ahead and clear that off again. Okay, so it says, what is the measure of angle ADC? So that other, back to the original problem, what is the measure of, let me close this off again, angle ADC? So your original question, that's the original question that we had. What is that measure? So we know that 2x plus 1 was 125. Okay, we know that x minus 7, two ways in which we can solve x minus 7, plugging in 62 and subtracting 7 from that. Or you can take 125 and 180 and subtract that from each other as well. That will give you your x minus 7. I'm going to go ahead and do my work here, checking my work both ways to find out what that is going to be. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward. And so go ahead and see if you guys can come up with what is that angle of ADC based on what you see, okay, what we learned from there. And I'm not giving you all the answers so that you guys can actually work it out on your own, okay. Number 7, it says, what facts about angles can you use to find the unknown angle measure? So there's actually quite a few things that you can use. Number 1, you can use that supplementary angle, find out what these angles are. You can use, once you found CDE here, we can just take 180 and subtract it from that, because that's going to give us the same thing. Also, what we learned last week, vertical angles are also equal. So whatever you got for EDF, that's going to be the same answer that you got for ADC. And again, I'm not going to give you the answer so that you can actually work that out yourself, okay? And then the last part, you're going to try this on your own. I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through the directions, and then I'm going to leave it to you to try on your own. It says in triangle ABC, so ABC, this triangle right here, the measure of ACB, so the measure of ACB is x plus 11. The measure of ACE is 3x plus 5. And they're going to ask you to find a few different angles, okay? So it says find the measure of angle DCB, which is vertical to this angle here. Okay, so remember, vertical angles are equal. And then find the measure of angle ECD. So whoopsies. We had DCB. I'm sorry, I totally messed that up. Okay, so DCB, which is opposite, which is vertical to this angle, it's going to be the same as this angle. And then the other one was this ECD, which is opposite to this angle. So if you can find out what this angle is and this angle is, you'll find these two. Okay, so just a reminder though, this is a straight line. So because it is a straight line, it's going to equal to 180 degrees. So it's supplementary to one another. Okay. Go ahead and try those problems on your own, as well as your practice problem for day 2. Do the best you can. All right. Thanks. I'll see you later. Bye.